Number of schools people should apply to. I generally tell people to apply to, in this cycle, between 5 and 6 schools plus backups. And also be realistic about the schools. Look at the statistics and see if you're within range of the statistics of people who are being accepted. I used to tell people to apply to fewer schools. I just tell people in this market it's better to really spread yourself a little bit wider, cast a wider net. And once again, it's better to have opportunity. Our goal at the end of the day is to create opportunities for you. And if your only opportunity is you apply to a school, and for instance you've only gotten to one school and it's really not your dream school, and your opportunity is to say no thank you to that school and to apply to the schools you want to go to the next year, but at least you have that opportunity. If you don't apply to schools and you don't get admitted, then you really have no chance. You have no options. In other words, your options only start occurring when you actually get an acceptance letter from a particular school. Once again, in most people I've worked with this year who I'm consulting and go to business school and tell them between 5 and 6 schools plus backups. It's a lot of work, but it's really worth it. How much time should you spend on it? In an ideal world, really the whole application process takes between 2 and 3 months. I tell people it is a full-time job. It's your second full-time job. And really almost all of your time outside of work will be spent on some form of applying to business school. And I tell people really rushed work really results in substandard applications. So I really encourage people to start as early as possible. The first questions for business school generally come out at the end of July. Schools start posting their essay questions for that year at the end of July. If you're applying next year, that's when you should start looking. If you're applying this year, obviously you're going to have to rush a little bit, but you still have time. You still have about a month until most of the applications are due for the second round in North America, and you have about 3 months before the third round applications are due. So that still fits in plenty of time to get everything done. Start early. That's pretty basic common sense. I mean, things happen, and in general, the earlier rounds tend to be slightly easier to get into. But schools have actually gotten much smarter with managing their wait list. And schools have two goals. They want as low of an acceptance rate as possible and as high of a yield as possible. And the yield is the number of people who are accepted who actually basically accept their acceptance letter. So it's the people who actually end up going to that particular school. So they want to keep their acceptance rate as low as possible and their yield as high as possible. What does this mean? The schools really effectively use their wait list. They accept the candidates they really want and who really want them, and they're actually putting more and more candidates on the wait list. And so it's up to you to sell yourself to that particular school particularly after you put it on the wait list. If you want to go there, you have to continue to market yourself to the school to show that if you are offered an admission spot, that you will accept it. Time management, this is pretty self-explanatory. You need to manage every aspect of your application carefully. For instance, if you're applying the second round and your recommendations show up late, you're automatically booted to the third round. So you really need to make sure your recommenders are in shape. Make sure they're on top of them. Make sure everything, your transcripts are in if you need to do transcripts. Your scores are in if you need to scores. The last thing you want to do is actually get pushed to another round because it takes you that much longer to wait and see what the results are from an administrative error. And really the best way to do that is by starting, once again, really managing your time and managing all aspects of your application. I tell people to make this their #1 life priority. It's a huge investment you're making. It's a huge monetary investment, it's a huge energy investment, and it's a huge time investment. And believe it or not, the monetary investment is the least important. It's the time and the energy investment that are most important. It's a huge investment. You can always make up the money, but the energy and the time are things you cannot make up. So you want to make sure that you are given the best opportunities you can for yourself, and this is why we really emphasize this whole comprehensive approach. Really, the whole get started early, do the best you can and everything. Really cover all different aspects of your candidacy as best you possibly can. Really, and this again, the money aspect is probably the least important aspect. The time important. If you're at the wrong school, if you're not given the best opportunities you possibly can create for yourself, it makes you feel a little bit cheated, and it's not really how you want to sort of live, and it's really not how you want to invest in yourself on those 3 factors. And the last thing is advisors. Really choose them very, very carefully. Maybe bad advice, dated advice can really sort of lead to really damage your candidacy. Also, having everyone give you advice